Hello everyone and welcome into Coach Craig's Sports. This is the MLB DFS Core Pick video for Wednesday, June 11th. If you're joining me for the very first time, first of all, welcome in. Second of all, this is how today's video will be structured. We'll be going over my core picks. It's going to be 5 players in total, 1 pitcher, 4 hitters. That's going to be based on a combination of past performance versus their respective opponent, as well as some recent history. And then after that, we'll get moved over to my cheat sheet and talk about my top GPP teams to stack for Wednesday's slate overall. And then in the morning, I'll be posting up my early morning weather report that I'll have any game that does have a double-digit chance of rain or higher. And then I will also be posting as many of these starting lineups as I can get to down in that comment section throughout the afternoon and early evening. So definitely be sure that you are checking up down there, especially as we do get closer to lock. But without further ado, we'll get over to my core picks. We are going to start off at the pitcher position with David Peterson of the New York Mets, $9,600, averaging just under 33 fantasy points per game on the season. Goes against the Washington Nationals. He's got some pretty decent history versus them in the past, maybe a little bit more hit or miss than we would like, but not the greatest pitching slate overall. Obviously, if you want to pay up for Robbie Ray at $11,000, the upside is there. The matchup is attractive versus the Colorado Rockies, but that game is at Coors Field, so a little bit more risk than I like, especially given that price tag, but definitely do like David Peterson here. He had 3 starts against the Washington Nationals last year. He had 43, 23, and 30 points, so obviously we're looking for that upside out of him once again. And if we take a look at what he's done so far on the season, he's got 4 wins, ERA is at 2.8, and he's averaging just under 33 fantasy points per game at $9,600. So definitely do like the upside that he could have on this slate overall, but definitely feel free to mix and match at the pitcher position. Then we move down to our hitters. We're going to start off with Wilmer Flores at first base. He's $3,500. He's averaging just under 10 fantasy points per game on the season. Goes against the Colorado Rockies. That game's at Coors Field. Going against Kyle Freeland, he is 11 for 40 with 1 home run versus Kyle Freeland in his career. And if we look at what Wilmer Flores has been doing as of late, he has at least 1 hit in 2 out of his last 3 games, 1 multi-game, 1 home run, and 2 double-digit performances during that time span. Prior to that, slowed down just a little bit, but has had a pretty strong start to the season. .251 batting average, 11 home runs, 49 RBIs, once again averaging just under 10 fantasy points per game at $3,500. With him being at Coors Field and going against the lefty, definitely does have a lot of attractive upside there for Wilmer Flores just in general. Then we're going to move down to second base with Abraham Toro. You can also play him at first base and third base, $2,800, and he's averaging just over 9.5 fantasy points per game so far in the season. Goes against the Tampa Bay Rays. It is Zach Lytle as the expected starting pitcher for that Rays team. Abraham Toro's been doing pretty well as of late. He is on a modest 5-game hitting streak entering Tuesday, and he has 4 multi-hit games during that time span, 1 home run, 5 double-digit performances, so performing really well as of late, and he's 2 for 4 versus Zach Lytle in his career. And if we look at what he's done so far on the young season, .333 batting average, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs. Once again, he's averaging just over 9.5 fantasy points per game at $2,800. Do definitely like his upside at this respective price tag, as well as his multi-positional versatility. Then we move down to shortstop with Francisco Lindor, $3,800, averaging just under 13 fantasy points per game on the season. Goes against the Washington Nationals, Jake Irvin on the mound. He's 5 for 13 with 1 home run versus Jake Irvin in his career. If we look at what Francisco Lindor has done as of late, he has at least 1 hit in 7 out of his last 9 games, 4 multi-hit games during that time span, 2 home runs, and 7 double-digit performances, so performing really well as of late. And one of the crazy things for him right now is he's playing through injuries, so definitely do like that upside with him. Maybe they give him a couple extra days off here and there, so definitely keep an eye out on that. If he is ultimately not in the lineup, we'll update the core with somebody else, but he is at a .283 batting average on the season, 14 home runs, 38 RBIs, once again averaging just under 13 fantasy points per game at $3,800. And then last but not least, we're going down to the outfield spot. You could also play him at first base if you want to do so, and that's going to be Ryan O'Hearn of the Baltimore Orioles, $3,100, averaging just over 10 fantasy points per game on the season. Goes against the Detroit Tigers and Casey Mize on the mound as their expected starting pitcher, and he is 6 for 11 with 2 home runs versus Casey Mize in his career. And as of late, Ryan O'Hearn started to slow down a little bit, but if we go further back, he has at least 1 hit in 13 out of his last 17 games, 5 multi-hit games during that time span, 2 home runs, 5 double-digit performances, and 11 games of 9 fantasy points or higher. So it does offer a relatively safe floor. I know as of late it's been a little bit more hit or miss, so there is some downside to be had there, but he does have that good profile versus Casey Mize in the past, so definitely do like that upside out of him. If we look at what he's done so far on the season, .316 batting average, 9 home runs, 24 RBIs, once again averaging over 10 fantasy points per game at $3,100. But with that being said, if you go with the 5 players that I do currently have listed here, you have $12,200 remaining, just over $3,000 remaining per player. So kind of a balanced build day the rest of the way from here. But feel free to mix the matches you do see fit. These 4 hitters are on 4 different teams, but 4 hitters that I did want to highlight for Wednesday's slate overall. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to my cheat sheet and talk about my top teams to stack for Wednesday's slate overall. So we're going to start off with the Texas Rangers. They're going against the Minnesota Twins. David Festa is the expected starting pitcher for them, and the Rangers have hit him pretty well in the past, although it is a very, very small sample size. David Festa very much relies on that fastball and has not pitched too deep in the games so far in his young career, so definitely do like that matchup there just in general. Then we have the Houston Astros going against Chicago White Sox. Sean Burke on the mound for them. Sean Burke very, very hit or miss, just kind of depends on the day, but if his fastball comes out pretty flat, he's going to get hit pretty hard. Astros are typically a team that does hit that fastball pretty well, so definitely would expect a lot of upside out of this Astros team once again. Then we have the San Francisco Giants going against Kyle Freeland out in Coors Field. Definitely do like the upside of the Giants. Probably going to be one of the most popular stacks on the day just in general. And then last but not least, I have the Detroit Tigers going against Zach Eflin. They have hit him pretty well in the past. Not a long sample size, but a lot of their guys have had some success against him at the same time as well. But with that being said, these are my core picks as well as top GPP teams to stack for Wednesday, June 11th. As always, if you have any questions related to MLB DFS, be sure to drop them down in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. And then once again in the morning, I'll be listing my early morning weather report that will have any game that does have a double-digit chance of rain or higher. And then I will also be listing as many of these starting lineups as I can get to throughout the afternoon and early evening. So definitely be sure that you are checking up down in that comment section, especially as we do get closer to lock, so that you do have the most up-to-date information as possible. But with that being said, if you're brand new to my channel, checking it out for the very first time, or have yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now we have MLB DFS in terms of the core pick videos, typically Monday through Friday. I have my CFL DFS video dropping once a week. That typically is coming out on Wednesday, so definitely on the lookout for that if that's something you're into as well. And then last but not least, if you're interested in sports betting, if you're interested in prop betting, be sure to check out the links and promo codes down in the description below for BetUS, Parlay Play, and Prize Picks. If you're a brand new user to any one of those 3 sites, when you sign up, make your initial deposit, you will get a first match deposit bonus. For Prize Picks and Parlay Play, it's 100% match up to $100. And then for BetUS, it's 125% match up to $2,000. So some pretty great opportunities to be had out there. If you have any other additional questions related to that whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me, whether it's down in the comment section of this video or on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport, and be more than happy to help you with that journey as well. But with that being said, that's all that I truly have for today's video. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Definitely means a lot to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day and some pretty good luck in MLB DFS for Wednesday, June 11th.